It's time to finish off the trilogy. Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception is what I would consider to be the weakest point of the series, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's still a fun game regardless, and there's reasons for this. First, there's not much here that you haven't already seen in previous games. Other than a new story, new selection of weapons, and a few new characters, everything is pretty much the same. There's one huge improvement, and I'll get to that shortly, because it actually plays a pretty big part in the game. Anyway, the story is that Drake is after an artifact that was stolen from him 20 years ago. Well, he stole that artifact himself, and then it was taken from him, but more on that in a bit. Drake's ring that he wears as a necklace acts like a key for it, and there's another party that's after the ring just as Drake is after the artifact. This is the whole premise of the game, but of course it gets fleshed out a bit. Just as Uncharted 1 had El Dorado, and Uncharted 2 has Shangri-La, Uncharted 3 has a place called Ubar, or the Atlantis of the Sands. Apparently this city was destroyed by a natural disaster or something, at least according to legend. Think of it as the above sea level Atlantis, and you'll be on the right track. I think. For a good chunk of the game, you'll be with your normal crew of Drake, Sully, Chloe, and a new guy named Cutter. These four set out to find clues on how to find the lost city before their counterparts. A lot of the game takes place in new environments, including a city in Yemen, an airfield, a boat graveyard, and even a vast desert. The boat is the most interesting, although I could consider it the most frustrating too. It's fun to fight inside that huge freighter and then watch it fall apart. Unfortunately, there are also some recycled areas. The force is in France, and although you don't spend a ton of time in it, you'll eventually encounter a large castle. This is very similar to the first game, but there is a nice little twist in where the whole place burns down and you are forced to accompany Sully in escaping the ruins. It's really a frantic stage and fun to play. In addition, there's another convoy level. The first instance in the second game was freaking insane and unexpected. The second time you do it, instead of hopping from vehicle to vehicle, you'll be hopping from horse to vehicle to horse. It's still pretty neat, but not as fun as the original convoy. Another interesting new thing is that you play as a much younger Nathan Drake for a short time. This is just to show the point of the story on Drake originally stealing the decoder-like artifact from a Sir Francis Drake exhibit in a foreign museum. This is also where Drake first met Sully, and it's pretty cool to see this. However, in contrast to the rest of the game, the pace is much slower in these chapters, and are pretty much solely for story progression. To mention one last thing about the story, the opposing force is using a drug to tranquilize certain people. The odd thing about this drug is that it seems to also give the attacker mind control over the victim. Of course, Nate gets hit at one point in the game, and you're treated to a messed up Drake running through market stalls. I can only compare this to Max Payne's nightmare scenes. It's not as creepy as Max Payne, but it's close enough. Now let's move on to the combat. It doesn't change too much, with only a few new features. Drake can now swim underwater, and as such can shoot in the water, but the need to do so is minimal. In fact, I can't remember a time where I actually had to. The main new feature is the upgraded melee system. Just like in Uncharted 2, square attacks and triangle counters. In addition to this, you can now use circle to grab your opponent and shove them or to break a hold. Because of this, you can now use the environment to your advantage. For example, in a fight in the market, you can get your enemy near a stall and smack them unconscious with a fish. On a boat, smack a pirate with a pot. That's pretty cool. You'll also come across larger than normal foes that can take quite a few punches. You'll be forced to use all of the face buttons, other than X, to defeat him. You're first introduced to this large dude in the opening chapter, which seconds as a tutorial on this new melee system. It's actually a pretty hilarious chapter, in which Drake and Sully find out that the money on the table is fake, and they're trying to walk away. I'll just let you watch this part.
While you still can.
Do as the man says, son. You're a thief.
Well now, that's ironic.
You go! You and me. I got me, come on!
No time to rest. What's this? Hey there, big fella.
I got him! Alright, quick, get him! Not bad idea, Granddad. Get him! There, you spilled my drink! Come on now, let's break it up, will ya? Get him, lads!
This one's on me.
This a private party, or can I join in?
I
We
guess.
got him, lads! Take him down! What's the hell you got? What do you think you're doing?
Man, this got out of hand in a hurry.
Yeah, thanks.
All done. Man, that is nasty.
Come on!
Now just give me a second there, mate. I'll be right with you. Okay, ready for more.
You okay in there? You hurt?
Just my pride.
Come on. Let's go, Nate.
Funny, right? It's a great intro to the game. And although the intro is fairly believable, sadly, much of the game has taken a more over-the-top approach. The whole mind control drug is sketchy to begin with, but there's a segment where Drake is on a plane and almost gets thrown off. He manages to climb back on, but shortly later accidentally blows a hole in the side of the plane and gets sucked out, way to manage to grab a hold of the box with a parachute. The whole train off a mountainside in the second game was a bit extreme, but this takes it to a new level. I know Drake is human, but I'd say that if he's falling at terminal velocity towards a freaking crate, there's a very, very slim chance that he's going to be able to grab and hold on to that box. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if someone smacks a box at that speed, you're bouncing off and you're definitely going to be lucky to be awake. It doesn't happen often, but this kind of stuff bugs me in a game that's somewhat realistic in nature, especially when Drake is considered to be a normal human being, other than his insane wall climbing ability. And sadly, even though these over-the-top segments are present, the game just isn't as interesting as the previous ones. The story's not horrible, but it's not as engrossing. It doesn't really have the level of danger that the prequels did. Sure, Drake gets beat up a lot, but the story itself just doesn't do it for me. Drake still has a chance to find treasures that are laying around. They're actually easier to spot this time around too. In addition to blinking like before, you can actually see the colors of the treasure. This makes them much easier to find. I'm not going to show you the ending, simply because it's the most satisfying of the series. It really closes out the 3 games, and in my opinion, if there's no Uncharted 4, well, I'd be perfectly fine with that. There, I've just said my piece about the ending. Multiplayer modes are a bit expanded in this game as well. Although I've tried to log on to play the game for a bit, the game couldn't connect to the server. I'm not even sure if the game is still available online, but hey, I tried. The biggest addition is that you now have free-for-all style gameplay modes, and there's now a level system. Unfortunately, like many other online games of its kind, those who are a higher level have much better guns, and therefore a distinct advantage. That's all I have for Uncharted 3. It's not really a huge improvement over Uncharted 2, but then again, that's a very difficult game to follow. It's not really as interesting, but it's still a solid game that's fun to play. It's just that it may not hook you in as easily. If you like the previous two, definitely give this one a go. Final score? 8 out of 10. This is Reaper. As always, find me on Facebook, facebook.com/ReapersReviews. Just like the previous two games, here's some funny parts of the game. Happy fragging.
Well, well. A secret passage.
All right. Gotta hand it to you, Sully. Okay. I'll push, you pull. On 3, ready?
Wait, 1, 2, pull, or 1, 2, 3, pull?
Just pull.
Got it. What the hell?
Why aren't you in France?
We're rescuing you? From what? We thought you were captured.
Or worse.
Wait, why?
Talbot ambushed us at the chateau. It was a trap.
Yeah, we figured they must have followed you too.
Well, yeah, they're definitely here.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we might want to think about keeping it down a little.
What happened to you two? We've been trying to reach you for over 24 hours.
Oh, right, I need to top up my minutes.
You're using a prepaid phone?
Mate, those contracts are a complete rip-off.
What? Mine's broken.
Again?
Is somebody gonna fill me in here? Who are those guys? And what does Charlie have to do with all this?
He was working with us on this one.
Wait, what was? He's not dead.
No.
Him and Chloe.
Wait, Chloe too?
Yeah, but they both bowed out when Cutter broke his leg.
He broke his leg?
Just lucky he didn't break his damn neck or fall like that.
He's fine.
Just between that and burning to death, I think I would have jumped too.
Not helping. Come on now. We've got to go. Run! Come on, son. Get up. Come on. Please tell me you didn't swallow any of that water.
I don't think so. Jesus. This is why we can't have nice things.
Come on. We gotta move.